Hey, welcome back to Cardano Sense. I'm Anthony, and we're talking about Singularity Net. That is the blockchain that is coming over to Cardano, not from Ethereum. That would be incorrect. If they're staying with Ethereum, they're just also building their chain on top of Cardano. So there's been a lot about this in the news. There's a couple of videos just talking about the fact that they're coming over here. But what I want to do is kind of dig in a little bit into Singularity.net, find out what they're bringing over, and really more importantly, why are they coming over to Cardano, besides the obvious gas and speed reasons. All right, before I start, if you'd like to support me, Sophie, S-O-P-H-I, is my stake pool, and I have an ADA address there also. Okay, so let's kind of get into this. So I've watched the video between Charles and Dr. Ben Goertzel. I hope I'm saying that right. And they talked about, coming over, Singularity coming over from to Cardano, but they're also staying on Ethereum. And the doctor said basically, we're going to let the community figure this out. They're going to move. My impression was they're going to move over here, and they're going to kind of use both systems, and whichever system works better, the community is going to, use. Evidently, that's how he's going to let it happen. They're going to let it happen, kind of organically like that. So, besides gas and besides speed, what else are they coming over for? Right? What else is important to them? So we're going to take a break here. We're going to look at a small two segments of a video. The first video, and I hope I say this right, also has a Aparna and talking to John Hughes. John Hughes is a very famous functional software developer. He also developed a very popular testing package, essentially called Quick Test. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, and then after that, you're going to see a little bit of the interview between Charles and Dr. Ben Goertzel. Okay, so let's watch this. What they're talking about is a test. She doesn't mention it right up front because I cut this from the middle, but she's talking about tests, and you'll understand once you watch it.
And just for the members of the community in our audience, we have approached John and Cubic about partnering with us to do the same thing for Plutus contracts that will be available as a tool set for our developers. And we're still in the early stages of figuring this out, John. But I can see great value. What do you think in being able to provide this to our developer community?
Sure, I think it's very exciting. So smart contracts is clearly an area where it really matters that the code is right. We've all read about cases with thefts of millions of tokens, and of course nobody wants that to happen just because they made a small mistake in a smart contract. And this is the kind of place where property-based testing can really deliver a lot of value, because it's just going to show the mistakes in contracts like that.
Okay, so he's talking about testing, and he's also talking about smart contracts. And Plutus, one of the reasons I really like Cardano is because of Haskell and Plutus, right? I say this, and you hear other people say this. Banks use Haskell. Financial institutes use Haskell. It's a functional language based on mathematics. It's very secure. I mean, not to knock Solidity, but you wouldn't see banks or financial institutes using Solidity. All right, so that's why I just really like the fact that Cardano uses functional languages, and I think that's going to be a big reason why people come over. Okay, so let's take a look at this video with Charles and Dr. Goertzel, and then we'll talk a little after.
There's a big focus on formal verification in the Cardano world, and as a mathematician, that's very interesting to me, right? Like I would love to see automated theorem provers running in SingularityNet and leveraging the SingularityNet decentralized AI network. I'd love to see these decentralized AI-based automated theorem provers put to work, verifying smart contracts running on Cardano and helping verify Cardano infrastructure code, right?
Okay, so you heard what he was talking about there, verification. And the video before that, they were talking about tests, so essentially the same thing, right? Verification tests. But the tests they're talking about, they're not normal tests. They're not like tests you run on Solidity or JavaScript. they're testing a functional language. It's a special test. Functional languages they're all math. They're based on math. They're all functions. So it's a much more thorough test. Okay, so let's get into Singularity. What is Singularity? So what are they doing? What are they bringing over to Cardano, right? And what do they want to bring over here? So what they're bringing, let's talk about what they do first. So they're a marketplace for AI. So if you're a developer and you create an AI system, you can market it here. And then the customers come in. If they want to use your AI, they use the Singularity token to purchase time or purchase the use of the AI. They can also request AI. So if they have an idea for AI or they want an AI for something they're doing, they can request that someone makes the AI. And the tokens are also used for that. And just as a side note, Singularity discourages their use in the marketplace and trading in the marketplace. So, okay, so let's look at what they use their tokens for here. Let me move over first to the website. There you go. Okay. Let's start with staking. All right, so why do they have staking? They have staking because they need liquidity. The reason they need liquidity is because when you're, as a consumer, if you want to use some AI in their marketplace, they want you to pay with their AGI tokens. But if you don't have it, they let you use PayPal to pay also. So you can actually pay by credit card. The reason they need solidity is because the reason they need liquidity is because they, on the back end, transfer that money to tokens. So they need extra tokens so they can, make that transfer over. So that's why they use liquidity. It looks like they have a lot staked here, 109 million. So that's essentially one of their contracts. So they have two contracts that they're using right now. So we're going to go through this and look at some of this here. We're not going to go through a lot of it because they're not doing a whole lot with blockchain yet. But we're going to look at some of it. And we're going to look at one of the problems. So if you listen to this paragraph, it's very, very telling. First, we made the conscious choice to minimize our dependency on our current blockchain, Ethereum. Minimize their dependency on the blockchain, right? Both conceptual and practical issue motivated this decision. Conceptually, we desire to be blockchain agnostic and, if necessary, we'll consider building our own consensus algorithm based on reputation. One of the things Cardano has is a very good consensus algorithm. Okay, the speed, reliability, and cost of Ethereum blockchain interactions dictate that any scalable system built on top of it must minimize gas cost and the delays introduced by block mining time. So essentially right now, right in that paragraph, they're saying, look, there's more things we want to do on the blockchain, but we just can't do it because of Ethereum's issues. The Ethereum just can't do the things they want to do on the blockchain. If we take a look at this graphically, and this graph here, if you look under this line here, this is what the blockchain does. Two things: payment claims by service providers and the registry. So essentially, there's two contracts that they use with their blockchain right now: wallet operations, this kind of stuff. But this is the only on-chain stuff is underneath here. I'll tell you this now. They also use IPFS, which is the interplanetary file system, because they need a place to store their metadata, and they also can't do that with Ethereum. The cool thing about Cardano is we can actually store metadata. I think that came out last week, or they just talked about it last week. So they're actually using IPFS, which I believe is considered another blockchain, to store metadata. Okay, so let's get into what these contracts are that they're using. Ethereum smart contracts. So they're basically, they have two smart contracts. The first smart contract, Singularity Net registry, is on an ERC 165 compliant smart contract on the Ethereum blockchain that stores organization services and type repositories. So essentially what this tells me is they're storing basically the AI, like basically a list of the AI, because customers can also access this when they're looking for AI. So at the very minimum, they're storing the list of the AI on there. But like I said, they're using IPFS. to store metadata. So this can't be a whole lot in this contract here. And of course, it costs more, right, to store that stuff. Okay, the second contract, multi-party escrow smart contract, excuse me, coupled with our automatic unidirectional payment channels, enables scalable payments in the platform by minimizing the number of on-blockchain transactions needed between clients and AI service owners. So essentially what they're saying is they had to create a system, an extra system, because the blockchain wasn't fast enough. So they're using this contract, but in the back end they have something else, so that they can accept payments faster. And that's essentially all that they're doing right now. But if you watch that video, and I'll leave a link to that video down in the description, they want to do so much more. And that's one of the reasons they're moving to Cardano, because they see Cardano as an opportunity to build things they want. Besides the fact that it's faster and and quicker, they want to do other things. That first paragraph I read, obviously there's other things they want to do that they can't do on Ethereum. So we'll see what happens. They're going to move it over, and it's going to be a nice little test, because you'll have some on Ethereum, some on Cardano, and we'll kind of see what happens, which way people kind of go to. Also, by the way, I use this platform, and it's great. I used one of the AI that takes text to speech, which everybody does or has, but it was very good. It was a female's voice, and it was the inflection of her voice was very good. I gave it 4 stars because it was one word that she messed up, Cardano of all words, but it was very, very good. If you have a chance, you should try it out. It's free to try out a couple of the AI contracts, what they're called, programs, apps. So anyway, if I said anything that was incorrect, or if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and we'll all look forward to seeing this on Cardano, hopefully within the next few months. All right, everyone, have a good night.